Hello everybody, it's your girl Sailor Savvy here, and I just first wanted to start off this video by saying I am sorry because I know it's been a really long time since I've made a video. But as I mentioned in my previous video, it's just been a lot trying to adjust to post bootcamp life and being a student again. I started classes for my A school. I'm in A school now, obviously. And I started class and having a lot of homework, plus I've been on duty, standing watch, all that good stuff, making sure I get everything done that I need to get done on time. So YouTube kind of had to take a back burner to all that, but I want to start making content regularly again. So I've been doing my best to find good times to make videos. Like right now, I'm on duty this weekend, so I'm not allowed to really leave, but I have free time right now. And it's just been hard trying to find good lighting. Like, it's terrible lighting. So I ordered me a Lumi case, so hopefully that'll help. And until then, until my Lumi case comes in, I have to make the most of it. So I'm sitting outside, the sun's in my eyes, that's why I have shades on. But yeah, so without further ado, let me start this video. So this video is going to be the first of my bootcamp series. This video is just pretty much going to be a general overview of my experiences and a lot of tips that you might not have heard from other people's videos that you've seen, tips that I didn't see when I was doing my research before bootcamp, and so tips that I wish I would have thought of or would have known before I went to bootcamp. So I have my little notepad here with like things written down on it. You can't even see it because of the sun, but things written down on it that I want to cover. So if you see me looking down, well, you won't see because my shades, but whatever. Yeah, so that will be that. So first off, I want to just say that bootcamp was exactly what I thought it would be. It was the hardest non-challenging thing I've ever done, if that makes sense. So let me go ahead and explain that. So when I say non-challenging, the actual stuff, like the actual tasks that they make you do or that they give to you, it's not hard. Like folding your clothes properly, stowing your clothes in your rack properly, standing watch properly, doing anything they ask you to do or they tell you to do, they pretty much give you the answers before they tell you to do it, before they make you execute. So the whole time you're in boot camp and you have a task, you already know how to do it, and they ask you if you understand. And that is the time for you to say, no, I don't understand. Even if it's something super simple, even if they get annoyed, or even if you think they'll get annoyed, that is the time for you to ask, or to let your instructor or your your RDC know that you do not understand. Do not say you understand or don't say anything at all, and then when it's time for you to actually perform the task, you do it wrong, because that's going to piss them off. So that's what I mean by the non-challenging thing. Like, most of the stuff is simple. Most of the tasks they give you are simple. It's just tedious and detail oriented. So you have to make sure you're paying attention to those details. The hard part comes when you have to work together as a team. So your whole team might have to complete the mission, get this one job done, and when it's a million people, not a million literally, but when it's a whole bunch of people from different places across the US with different personalities and different ways they like to operate, it becomes hard. And then when one person fails, you all fail. If one person succeeds, you all succeed. So the saying comes to mind, you're only as strong as your weakest link. That was true as fuck in boot camp, and it will be true throughout your Navy career. That's just the first step. That's just the first time you actually experience it. So boot camp was the hardest non-challenging thing I've ever done in my life. Like, there was times where I was just like, man, like, I never thought that, like, it never crossed my mind that I wanted to give up. It was always be like, I can't wait to get over this. I can't wait to get through this. I can't wait to be done with it. A lot of people was like, oh, I want to go home, I want to do that. And when those people come across you, or you come across those type of people, you should be the one to encourage them, to remind them why they're there. So that brings me to my next point, is to make sure you work together as a team as soon as possible, as soon as you get there. Like I said, there's going to be people whose personality clashes with yours. Ignore all that. You don't have to like them. You just have to be able to work with them to accomplish whatever you need to accomplish. So with females, when you're in an integrated division, because there's no all-female division, there will be all-male divisions, but females, you're going to be in an integrated division with males. So with that being said, you're going to be in a female house and a male house. Female house is going to consist of two divisions worth of females. So yeah, so when you're at home, and you're getting dressed, or you're getting prepared or for the day or whatever, you're in female house, and then they'll tell you to integrate, and you'll go over with the males in your division. So you have to work together with all the females in the female house to clean, to get ready on time, to shower, to hygiene, to do all of that. And then you have to go ahead and integrate and work together with the males in your division to do whatever you have to do for the day. So you need to figure out the best strategies to work together with a whole bunch of females, and then the best strategy to work together with your division with males and females. And the faster you come together and you figure that out, the faster is gonna, no, not the faster, the smoother boot camp is going to be for you. What our RDC did was they split us up into small groups, and we just went around and told our stories. We told each other why we joined the military, or why we joined the Navy, and it got personal. Like, it got really, really deep in there. Like, people was crying, like everyone was crying pretty much, because some people's stories were like heartbreaking on why they joined the Navy. And after hearing their backgrounds, it kind of made you look at them a little bit different. Like, it's not in a negative way, but you kind of understood where they were coming from and why they acted the way they did, or all of that. So that little powwow session that we had really helped us come together as a team, or in my opinion it did. So what we did as a female house was after after taps or whatever, we try to do the same thing. I mean, sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna act like we were just perfect all the time, but you can learn from our mistakes and try to make it work for your division or your female house or whatever, and try to get together and have little powwow sessions. Don't be afraid to talk to someone that you don't know, or that you don't really like, or someone who clashes with you. Don't be afraid to start over. If you get there the first night you bump heads with somebody, don't be afraid to, or don't have so much pride that you can't go to them again and try to smooth it out. So that's the first thing that I wanted to mention. Second is to prepare physically and mentally, especially for all my females who are watching this, because as a female in the Navy, they're going to expect more of you. They will, especially from your female RDCs. Your female RDCs will be hard on you because they know just how hard it is to be a female in the military. So do not give them the opportunity to call you weak, mentally or physically. Like, the first time we ever got dropped, it was rough because we never did those type, well, most of us have never done those type of exercises before. Like, I've never held the down position of a push-up at all. So we was in there struggling. Like, some of them was crying, we was whimpering, and they let us know. They was like, y'all a bunch of weak ass motherfucking females, yada yada yada, y'all need to get y'all shit together. They cut us out, and that built us mentally and obviously physically, because we had to hold that shit. So practice. Like, if you know you're shipping out in 2 weeks after you sign your contract, make it a priority to do your run, to do your push-ups, to do your sit-ups. Find out whatever you need to get done to pass the minimum standards of the PFA and exceed them. You do not want to go to boot camp behind, because they do have a PFA. In the first PFA, if you don't pass the run, you get set back in training, and you do not want to get set back in training. Trust me. Like, people have nightmares of being ASMO. That's what it's called. ASMO is being called setback in training. Well, ASMO is when you get setback in training. So that's the first way for you to get ASMO. It's not passing your run. So, and then that just looks bad. Like, you don't want to come to boot camp not physically prepared to do the bare minimum. Like, no, you don't want to do that. So if you know, like I said, if you know you're shipping out soon, run twice a day if you have to, up until the day that you leave, because trust me, you don't want to be that person. By the end of boot camp, you want to be, you know, in the goods and the excellence. You don't want to be like barely scraping by at the end of boot camp. So like I said, make sure you do not give them the opportunity to call you weak physically or mentally. Like, a lot of the times when we were being dropped, if they saw you trying, like really giving it your all, they left you alone. Like with me, my arms would give out before I quit most of the time. Like, I'm not even gonna act like it was, I did that all the time, but most of the time my arms would give out before I dropped them. or at least that's what I was trying to do. Because if they see that you're putting in all of your efforts, they know you got heart, and they'll notice that. They'll comment on it too. They'll be like, oh, this recruit doesn't have no heart because she's gonna quit on the team. This recruit does though. They'll notice that. So you definitely want to make sure that you're giving it your all. Don't let them give you the opportunity to call you weak. So my next tip will be to go to chapel. So on Sundays they have what's called holiday routine, where you can pretty much shine your boots, write letters, take extra long showers. They give you a few hours of the day to just kind of relax, where it's not training time, but you still have to be productive, but it's just not like structured training time. And during holiday routine, you are allowed to go to different services that they offer, and they have all different kinds of services. They have Muslim service, Catholic, Christian, gospel, Buddhist, all types of services. And even if you're not a religious person, I would still recommend going to chapel just for the environment. Like, I can't speak on all the other services because I only went to the gospel, but gospel is lit. Like, just the vibes in there, like even if you wasn't super religious, it was just super positive vibes. Like, we were just in there having a good time. We got away from the compartment, we got away from our RDCs. That's probably like the only time when you're not with your RDCs or with an instructor is when you're in chapel. So it was just a refreshing change. Like, there was people who wasn't religious at all or never been to a gospel service who enjoyed going to gospel, just because, like I said, just because of the environment and the vibes that was being given off in the room. So I would definitely recommend going to chapel, making the time to go to a chapel service or all chapel services if you want to experience different religions. And along with going to chapel, I would recommend speaking to the chaplain, to your ship's chaplain. Sometimes, like I believe, like towards the beginning of boot camp, your chaplain will come and introduce himself to you, let him know what he's there to do. Pretty much, if you're like super stressed out, or if you're like super overwhelmed, or if you feel like you just can't talk to anyone around you, you can make an appointment with the chaplain, and you can let him you can tell him whatever you want, and whatever you tell the chaplain is confidential. Like, he cannot go back and tell your RDCs or tell somebody else, or he has to keep your secret. Whatever you tell him is between you and him. I think there was like one exception. That's like if you plan to harm yourself, then he would obviously have to tell somebody. I think that's the one exception. I can't remember what the exception is, but other than that, whatever you tell chaplain is fair game. So another tip I would recommend is to talk to your RDCs. I know like some people will be looking at this video and be like, talk to who? Like, nah, but for real, like, talk to your RDCs. I know that at first, especially at first, they're going to seem like they're super hard, they're crazy, they're rude, like you just can't talk to them. But they are there to be your disciplinarian and then your mentor, or mentor first and then disciplinarian. Doesn't matter. They're there to mentor you as well as to discipline you and to turn you into a sailor. So if you need someone to talk to, you can go to them and just knock on their office and respectfully request permission to speak to them in private. 9 times out of 10, they're going to go for it. They will, because that's what they're there for. So I would highly recommend, speaking to your RDC, especially if they have the rate that you're gonna be. You can talk to them about the rate. You can talk to them about their experiences. You can talk to them about all types of things. You have to remember that RDCs are people too, and they have their own personal things that they're battling with and dealing with as well that you don't even know about. So don't be afraid of them. Talk to them, for real. I wish I would have talked to one of my RDCs a little bit more than I did, but I didn't, so it is what it is. But those are just the major tips that I have as of now. I don't want this video to be too long. It's already going on 14 minutes. So if you have any other questions or comments or anything like that, hit me up in the comments below and I will answer them for you. But until next time, stay tuned, because like I said, this is the first part of my boot camp series, and after this I'm going to be breaking down what happens during boot camp week by week, and then I'll make other videos about boot camp as well. So stick around for that. It's going to be lit. Alright, bye.